What's up guys, welcome back to the channel for another episode of My Team Career. In this episode we're going to get a few upgrades on the car and we're going around Australia and seeing what the best position we can get is. So hopefully we get up the grid a bit, but things aren't looking great. As you can see there, we were the second slowest car on the grid. So we're just going to have a quick scan through and see what upgrades are coming to the cars and see what we can do with the car. So we're skipping through the days. We get an overwheel winglet sorted and we get a beam wing for the rear wing. Hopefully we'll see if it makes a difference, but we have a Pirelli hot lap and yeah, we're going to chance this and see how we could do. We could probably do with the cash at the moment and maybe a bit of team acclaim as well, because yeah, we just want to get the car as good as possible for this race. And it's just all about setup really. We're going to have to mess around with the setup quite a bit to get this car to stick to the track. It's such a tricky car to actually drive at the moment, so hopefully we can get it good. And yeah, we're just going to skip through this lap here and see what we can do. So we got bronze on the first try, and this is our third try as we nearly lose the back end coming into that corner. Heavy on the brakes, but we managed to get silver here. Wasn't quite able to get gold, but I mean silver will do. It's a bit of team acclaim and a bit more extra cash, 50k. So hopefully it'll make a difference to us. And we're into practice now. We just done a quick practice because like you can't do the practice every race, otherwise like you'll get sick of doing it after a while. So quick practice just switches it up a little bit, save a bit of time recording as well. So we're just going to skip through this and see what we can get. And as you can see, we failed that one. It's actually the odds last year, it was like on F122 it was really easy to pass small. It might say 50%, but 9 times out of 10 you'll actually pass it. This year is different though, you'll fail a lot more, and all around this game is just a step up from last year. The physics, everything. So I'm really happy with the game so far and how I've settled into it. I think I could actually do with switching up the difficulty a small bit. At the moment I'm on 90. I think I'm going to raise it up to 95 just for the next race. In this race it's 90, and you'll see what I mean by the end of the episode. To switch up the difficulty a small bit. So we're just going to skip through all the practice sessions here, and yeah, I'll see you on the other side. So our team acclaim is level 5 now, so that technically means we can put another sponsor on the car, but unfortunately this episode I forgot to actually put the sponsor on the car, and we had quite a few upgrade or resource points. So we put the rear wing upper flap, we got that upgrade, that'll be on the way. Looking through a few others, I would like to get a bit of the chassis done. We've an energy store cell position upgrade on the way, so I'd like to get the chassis upgrade. So let's get into qualifying now and see how we get on. As always guys, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like and subscribe to stay updated with more F122 content. Here we are for our first flying lap. I'm not kind of just a banker lap. I didn't really want to push too hard, so we're just gonna put in a banker lap, go in, new tires, and see if we can get through. The car doesn't feel too bad with the setup that I have on. It doesn't have as much understeer as it did have, so I suppose that's a positive for the weekend, and hopefully we can build on that. So we skip to the end of the lap now, and we're just coming around the last corner, and we're flat out to the line now. We're in 22nd at the moment because we have obviously set a lap, and that puts us into P16. So at the moment we're through, but as the session goes on we're going to be put down the order a small bit. So we're going to skip ahead time here a small bit, and we're going to go out and throw one more lap in and see what we can do. See if we can possibly get through to qualifying 2. So just backed out of that corner a little bit, let the car ahead get up the road a small bit, so we won't have to deal with them. So we're up straight away. We're up on the delta a small bit, and again through the first corner. So hopefully this lap, if we push really hard, we'll be able to maybe get through to qualifying 2. And this is what I meant by turn up the difficulty. I don't really think our car is capable of getting through to qualifying 2. It's only what, the 3rd round of the season. I don't really think we should be getting through to qualifying 2, but anyway, we'll see if we can get through. And we're up at a tenth and a half, nearly 2 tenths now. We're pushing quite a bit with the car, trying to get through the track as fast as possible, take as much cornering speed as I possibly can. Yeah, I was sweating a lot playing. The weather is unbelievable, and that puts us into P13, I believe. We're almost 4 tenths up. So as I said, I don't think we should really be getting through to qualifying 2. I don't know, maybe we should, maybe we shouldn't, I don't know. Maybe it's just a fluke. But yeah, we're through to qualifying 2, and we're going to find out what we can do there and see if we can maybe climb the grid a small bit. So we get through. Oscar Piastri, unfortunately, is down in 19th at his home Grand Prix, and not a great. Oscar isn't really pushing at the moment. We need to invest in Oscar a small bit just to push him on that small bit. He needs to kind of get up the grid a small bit more. So we're here for our first lap, and only lap actually in qualifying 2, with 54 seconds to go. So we're only going to get the 1 lap in, and we're going to push quite a bit on this lap. I'm not expecting to get through to qualifying 3 obviously, but we'll see if we can get to even P14, P15, see what we can do. We're coming around the last corner now as we skip to the end of the lap, and flat out open the DRS and up through the gears, and we cross the line for P13 again. So yeah, I'm happy enough with that. Good starting position from tomorrow, and yeah, we'll see what we can do tomorrow in the race. Ferrari looking quite strong around the Australian track, and Perez down in 5th actually. Not a great lap for Perez, so we're going to get into the race now and see what we can do.
Fans roaring as they line the track here in Albert Park. Welcome to Melbourne, and the roar from the crowd can only mean one thing: it's race day. The Melbourne circuit is certainly one that needs to be taken seriously. It's a combination of slippery surfaces and difficult corners, making it a very tricky track when it comes to overtaking. Drivers find it hard to pass and will need to take full advantage of those DRS zones if they want to have any hope of breaking through. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Hamilton, Carlos Sainz and Russell, Fernando Alonso, Bottas, Ocon and Lando Norris, Gasly, Mick Schumacher, Jet and Magnussen, Joe, Ricciardo, Lance Stroll and Nicholas Latifi, Oscar Piastri, Tsunoda, Albon and Sebastian Vettel starts from the back of the grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. Natalie Pink.
Here we are for the formation lap. I'm just going to try to get as much heat into the tyres, and you know yourself, just try to keep the tyres hotter than everyone else so to maximise our chances at the start. We're starting behind Schumacher and ahead of Magnussen, so we're in a Haas sandwich at the moment with Guan Yu Zhou behind Magnussen and Gasly ahead of Schumacher. So we'll have to see what we can do in this race. I know them Haas's are very fast, and they're probably gonna get us at the start anyway, so I'm not gonna fight them too much. kind of fighting the likes of Aston Martin, Alfa Romeo, Williams, and maybe McLaren. I don't know, we'll have to see.
Superb parking there, mate. Let's make sure we get the edge on the surrounding drivers as the lights go.
As you can see there, all our tyres were nearly above 90 degrees, so they're nice and hot for the start. Maximise our chances off the start. So here are the red lights now, and it's 5 red lights. And away we go. After taking its time to go out, we get a good start on Schumacher and Gasly, but Norris down the middle is just, he had to brake there for some odd reason, and Gasly tries to go around the outside of Norris and actually takes him on the inside into turn 2, and we get past Schumacher as well. So not too bad of a start. We're up to P12 already, and Schumacher may be having a look down, but we dive down the inside of Lando Norris. And now next up is, Lando is still on the inside, so we're gonna have to back out here, I think. Yeah, we back out because it's not worth risking the race. We're trying to pull away from the 2 Haas cars behind us, but Magnussen got ahead of Schumacher, and now Magnussen will be bulleting towards us to try to get past us, as we're closing in on Lando Norris just a small bit down here on this back straight. We go through the chicane. We cut that corner a small bit and take a bit too much curb there on the second part of the chicane, but we're gaining and gaining and gaining Lando Norris, and Mick Schumacher and Magnussen are right behind us as well, trying to get the position off us. So we're going to fight it out now. We're going to push the car to the absolute limit and try to keep ahead of these 2 Haas cars. First lap over with, no carnage on the first lap for a change, and we're trying to catch Lando Norris ahead of us, as we see one of the Alpines go very deep into the corner, which holds up Bottas, Norris, myself, and Kevin Magnussen gains on us. So here we are on board with the AlphaTauri, and we just see, I think it's Esteban Ocon locks up going into the corner there, and Pierre Gasly actually capitalises on that and comes out on top and gets miles ahead of Ocon. But Ocon holds us up completely, which gives Magnussen a very good run into this next turn, but we throw it down the inside. We brake later, but he's still there on the inside as he backs out coming into the second part of the corner. So we're just going to try push on here and try get into the back of Lando Norris and try catch up with him. We're 3/10 behind him at the moment, and we dropped that to actually 2.5 tenths back up to 3 tenths. So we're kind of hovering around there, and we will have DRS once DRS opens, but ERS is kind of giving us a little push towards them. We were under a bit of pressure now from Kevin Magnussen behind. We had to throw a dummy down the inside just so Magnussen wouldn't throw it down there. As we come into the penultimate corner of the track, and we give it too much throttle and almost spin into the wall, but we manage to keep it together, which allows Magnussen, Schumacher and Guan Yu Zhou to get past us. But we're deploying ERS now, and we're gaining on Guan Yu Zhou. So this is a quick replay here of how we lost the back end from Kevin Magnussen's perspective. We just got on the throttle too early and managed to keep it out of the wall there. Almost gave the McLaren, I think it was Daniel Ricciardo, a chance to get past us, but we're down the inside of Guan Yu Zhou and managed to just fend them off as we run a bit deep. Gives them a good run now past turn 2 as we're storming down to turn 3. Guan Yu Zhou is right there beside us. He has the inside line, but we managed to just peep around the corner and get past him. We take a bit too much curb there, so we had to let off a small bit. We move up to the third sector now as we see Alex Albon diving down the inside of his teammate Nicholas Latifi, but isn't able to make it stick. Nicholas Latifi just gets better traction, better run through the corner, and Alex thought about going down the inside there. As we have a look on board here at Max Verstappen chasing down for the lead. I believe it is Carlos Sainz in the lead at the moment, and he dives down the inside, takes a bit of grass there just to get the move done, and has the move done before the corner even arrives. So Max Verstappen up into the lead now as we're battling on here, trying to keep Guan Yu Zhou at bay and try pull in Mick Schumacher a small bit as we run wide in the last penultimate corner. The car is starting to understeer now. The tyres, I'd say, are starting to go off, so I think we're going to be boxing either this lap or the next lap. Tyres are really starting to go off now, so just trying to keep it together as we run wide into turn 2 again. So we'll just move on here, and this was on board with Kevin Magnussen, I believe, as Lando Norris had a big lockup which allowed Kevin Magnussen to get through on this turn 2. He had the cleaner line and better traction, as Lando had a big lockup there and probably has a bit of a flat spot. So lap 5 now, and we see Lance Stroll and Daniel Ricciardo battling it out as Lance Stroll throws it down the inside of Daniel Ricciardo but is unable to keep the move. He just didn't have the enough room. Daniel gave him a bit of a squeeze there which didn't allow Lance Stroll to get past him. So here we are again, we're trying to track down Lando Norris as Schumacher got past Lando Norris, which the Haas cars are just on fire. They are bulleting through the field at the moment. We deploy ERS and we are ploughing down behind Lando Norris on the back straight, but he's just pulling away. As you can see, the delta climbing, it's climbed almost a tenth at the moment. So our tyres, I think, are gone at the moment, which isn't really helping us to keep Guan Yu Zhou at bay, although he's 1.2 seconds behind. As we see the McLaren of Lando Norris diving into the pits for his one and only stop this race. I believe he's going on to the medium compound tyres, and we also have Max Verstappen boxing this lap. He is also going on to the medium compound tyres as Mercedes of, I believe, George Russell. Yeah, I think it was George Russell that was in, and Esteban Ocon. So that's a race leader in for his pit. He's going to push on now to try to get back up to the top as we are on our in lap now for our medium compound tyres, and we're just going to push as much as we can in this in lap, but the tyres are already gone, so we can't really push too much. And yeah, we're just going to try to keep Guan Yu Zhou at bay for the moment. When we come out, we should be in clean-ish air. Yeah, I'd say we'll probably be at the back of the pack when we come out. We should be in clean air. As we see Charles Leclerc out of the Grand Prix, he has had a massive engine failure and he pulls it over to the left hand side, or the right hand side of the track I should say. If there was a safety car now, it would massively give us an advantage, but unfortunately for us, Leclerc found a safe place to stop and we are in for our pits now. It's green flags again, so we're just going to push into the pits here and brake as late as we can. We have a big lockup coming in, but that doesn't matter, we're changing onto the mediums now. So let's see what kind of pit stop we can get as we see Ocon into the pits now. We get an optimal pit stop and the pit crew smooth, yeah, 2.4, that's a decent stop for us. So we're going to push on now and try to get some heat into these tyres and see what we can do. So we're at the end of lap 7 and we can see our teammate Oscar Piastri coming in for his pit stop. His home race, I don't think he's doing too well, as we see one of the Red Bulls in. I presume it's Checo. We'll find out now in just a second. Yeah, pretty clean pit stop there from the guys. Oh, it's Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen back into the pits. So we will see here when we join back. I believe we actually pass Max Verstappen into the pits. There must have been contact there somewhere. So we'll go back through the replays and we'll see where that contact was and what happened. So here's Max, and I believe Checo coming out of pits, and Max drives straight into the back of him. Disaster for Red Bull here at Australia, and disaster for Ferrari. both of one of their drivers out of the points. Well, Max will be out of the points once he pits and gets his tyres back changed. Oh my god, what a shocker for the Australian Grand Prix. I can't believe that happened with Checo and Max. It was just such a silly mistake. There was no need for that to happen. I don't know what the AI are doing, to be honest. So we're just going to push on now, and we'll see. We're in P12, so see how long we can hold on to P12 for, as we're going to have a very fast Red Bull coming back up. I'd say he'll probably go on to the softs or the mediums again, as we see Checo fighting Carlos Sainz for the race lead after that contact with Max Verstappen, and he gets it. He's in the lead now of the Australian Grand Prix, and he obviously has no damage. His rear wing is perfectly fine. So we're going to race on here and see what we can do, and see if we can try pull in Lando Norris. He's 2.4 seconds up the road. I don't think we have the pace to kind of get onto the back of Lando. I think we should just focus on keeping Guan Yu Zhou at bay, and I mean Verstappen's going to be coming through at some point. He's 4 seconds behind Guan Yu Zhou, so I mean we're not going to fight Verstappen. He's in a different race to what we are, so there's no point in slowing him up. Coming towards the last sector, and you could see on the mini-map there, Carlos Sainz does a copy and paste move of what Checo done, except he goes down the inside. Checo has a big lock-up which allows Carlos Sainz to get through. So Ferrari back on top here at the Australian Grand Prix, and how long can they hold it on for? Will Checo have an answer for them, as we're just pushing on now? Norris is pulling away, he's 3.1. Verstappen is behind us now, he's 3.2. I don't expect Verstappen to be there for very long. I'd say by the time we get around to turn 1 again, Verstappen will be all over us. So here's Verstappen in a little onboard. He can see us, and he is going to push and push to try get past us in this Grand Prix, to try get some points for damage limitation. Bad weekend for Ferrari and a bad weekend for Red Bull overall. So round we come onto the pit straight now, and Max Verstappen 2/10 behind us, but I don't think his tyres are up to temperature right, because he's after losing a lot of time to us there, and he definitely shouldn't be losing time to us, as later on in the lap we see Max Verstappen down the inside along the back straight, as we're going to try keep up with him with DRS and ERS just to tow us along and try reel Lando Norris in. It's not looking hopeful with 3 laps left, so we're going to have to see where we can finish in this race. I'd say 13th is the highest we will get, so that if it is qualifying 1 P13, qualifying 2 P13, and the race P13. Not too bad. Consistency is key, guys. So we're just going to push on now. We have DRS on Max Verstappen as we cross the line for another lap down into turn 1, as we also get DRS here. So Max Verstappen is now pulling and pulling and pulling, and 1.1 seconds he is out of DRS range. So we're on our own now, and we're just going to have to push. We skip ahead to the last lap, guys, and Carlos Sainz gets the fastest lap of the race on the last lap, and he also gets the race win. I believe Checo was second, and by the mini-map it looks like an Alpine maybe, or else they've lapped the car and the car is stuck there. We'll find out now in just a minute as we come around the penultimate corner even of the Australian Grand Prix. Around the last corner, Max Verstappen puts in the fastest lap then, but unfortunately doesn't get that fastest lap point as he is out of the top 10. We cross the line for P13. Not too bad of a weekend overall for us. Disaster weekend for Ferrari and the likes of Red Bull. One of their drivers retired, and then in Red Bull's case, the 2 drivers colliding, giving one another damage. Well, Checo got away with it, but Max got damage, which dropped him out of the points. So Max has a bit of catching up to do now in the championship. I think Carlos won the last race as well, so Carlos is on a bit of a streak here. I reckon Carlos could be the favourite for the championship, although it's early days yet, anything can happen. So yeah, we see a Mercedes on the podium, Ferrari, and I believe the other one was Checo Perez. So there was good damage limitation for the two teams, the win and then second place obviously. So yeah, good weekend overall for most teams. I wouldn't say Ferrari would be too happy, or Christian Horner, but yeah, Carlos gets a win. We're just going to look at the championship standings and see what way they are looking at the moment. We'll just have a look at the race results here, and we see George Russell on the podium, and Pierre Gasly placed well actually, as we see the two Haases of Kevin Magnussen and Mick Schumacher in the points. So good weekend for Haas, as our teammate Oscar Piastri finishes in 21st. Carlos Sainz 16 points ahead in the championship, Perez behind. So it's going to be a fight all season between Red Bull and Ferrari, I reckon, as we level up our team acclaim. As I said, we forgot to put the extra sponsor on this race, so next episode we're going to put the sponsor on and try pick the best one, because we're kind of down on cash at the moment, so we kind of have to get a good routine going with, get a good sponsor, I mean, to kind of fund us a little bit so we can upgrade our facilities. So that's this episode, guys. Thanks for watching. Really hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, be sure to drop a like, subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and I'll see you in the next episode. Next episode is Imola, I believe, so see you then.